Hey, good morning everybody. It is Gerry coming from Rythmia Life Advancement Center in Guanacaste, Costa Rica. I hope that everybody can hear me, and I hope that I'm right side up. That'd be two wonderful things. Let's just wait for a minute to build, we'll talk about it. What is Rythmia Life Advancement Center? Hi, Zinlin. Hello, Zinlin. Hi, Maya. What is Rythmia? Rythmia is a life advancement center that specializes in plant medicine combined with metaphysical teachings. And there's lots of other things. There's Dead Sea Cleanse. There's metaphysical teachings, organic food, meditation, yoga, all kinds of things. What makes us a little bit unique and a little special? Well, number one, we get the greatest thought leaders from all over the world to speak at Rythmia. Number two, we collect data on this thing that happens. And here's the interesting part. 95.70%, that means 957 out of every 1,000 people who come here receive a life-changing miracle during their stay. How do we know that? This is all 100% electronic, self-reported data. And we've been so lucky. We've had 7,000 people through our doors. That's a lot of people. We've almost 100 people every week. This week we have Michael Beckwith, Reverend Beckwith, who's a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful soul, and about 90 people here. Now, this thing that happens, this 95.70%, at 6 months, the people who were here receive another email with a survey. 97.55% of them say that this was the week that changed their life. So what is this all about, and what makes this place so different? Well, we believe in this, if you can see this. We believe that you're conceived in some time between when you're conceived and 5 years old, you split from yourself, and then this person becomes whoever you become in life. And this split, that all addictions, all disease, and all disorder are a result of this particular split. And when we put it back together, everything in your life changes. And I'm telling you this, that everything in your life changes after this gets put back together. So what are some of the things why does this combination of plant medicine and metaphysical teachings work and stick? Why does it do that? Well, what we believe is this, is that we believe that most workshops deal with your conscious mind, and they're really great for your conscious mind, and your conscious mind can learn a lot about life and learn a lot about how to conduct yourself in life and how to have the highest outcome from your conscious mind. The problem is when we hey Melissa, hey Julie, when we take our mind off what we're doing, which we do about 95% of the day, then all of a sudden it reverts back to the subconscious, and if we're split, it lands on I'm not enough. And if your autopilot is constantly an I'm not enough, then without your even thinking about it, things fall apart. Because we project that into the world. Hey Maria, and that is really, really, really true. So a lot of, like what I do in a lot of these talks, is I talk about one thing that the medicine said. Today I'm going to give you a little laundry list of what the medicine says. So the medicine says the first thing to do is to get merged. To merge yourself back. That's the first thing. And then after you're merged, to search for the truth in everything you do. What does that mean? Search for the truth in everything you do. That means if somebody posts something about global warming, if you're going to read it and have it affect you, you better learn if it's true or not. If somebody's going to post something about unemployment and you're going to be affected by it, you better research it and know the truth about it. Because what media says is the truth and what is actually the truth are almost always two different things if you do your research. So what does that mean, search for the truth? It means not only search for the truth around us, but first and foremost, search for the truth within us. Search for the truth of who we are. As a matter of fact, in this process of remerging, the first step is seeing who we've become in order to merge. But once we're merged, we have to use this truth in our life, or it results in failure. How can I talk about failure and business success? I'll give it a little bit of a background with me. I became a millionaire in my 20s, a multi-millionaire in my 30s. I'm still a multi-millionaire and had a lot of commercial success in life. So I understand this part. And what is the key to having commercial success? It's being in truth, right? So we search for the truth. And this is like our process, right? Merge, then search for the truth in life, then make time our God. What do I mean that by make time our God? Well, I've been in the fortunate position to watch 7,000 people die. So ayahuasca is the vine of death, right? And the death process is repeated in ayahuasca, and I get to see what people are like in that death process. And remorse is the greatest thing that shows up in the death process. And what remorse about what? About not effectively using our time. That's it. Remorse about not effectively using our time. So we can eliminate a big thing off our list by using our time properly. And how do you use your time properly? We'll get to that in a second. So the thing is, by searching for truth all things and using our time properly, and at the same time, not adjusting the height of our goals, but adjusting the time frame of our goals. So basically, what you're trying to achieve is going to take longer than you've ever thought, usually about 10 years, about a decade, and it's going to be greater than you've ever imagined. A height that you never believed you could achieve. Hey Tammy, you read my book last night? I love that. Thank you. So the next thing, we want to adjust our time frames to be longer. We don't want to adjust our goals to be less. We want to adjust our time frames to be longer. And that relieves pressure. Now here's the next thing to relieve pressure. Because we can't actively use our time if we're under pressure. Because we will misspend our time. We'll work another shift, try to do this, it'll be a misspend of time. The next thing we got to do, hi Floyd, hi Joe, the next thing we have to do is arrange our expenses more properly. People don't like this, but I want to tell you, what you have to do is make your income more than your expenses or lower your expenses. And that gives us breathing room. Because what we need, what we want to do to actively and successfully use time, we have to eliminate pressure. And to eliminate pressure, we extend the time frames of our goals, not the height, the time frames, and we put ourselves in a position where we are less financially under stress. If you can do these two things, now all of a sudden you're in charge of time, instead of time really being in charge of you. And to make the most of this time. And Scott, hi Carrie, hey Scott, and I love 5 more years. I love that you have a 10-year horizon. That, Scott, has the right idea on the horizon, time horizon. But when you do this, you lower your expenses, you increase your time horizon, all of a sudden you have time. And what do you do with that time? You love and you give your time away. What? You love and you give your time away. And by giving your time away, I mean to be immersed in the object of your goal. So most of us that are in this kind of thing, like this kind of situation where you listen to a guy like me or something like that, we're actually healers. So most of us are in some way involved in the healing arts. And when I talk about the healing arts, I'm talking about the preparation of food, the cutting of lawns, the laying on of hands, the sending of energy, the being a consultant, the working at a bank. Those are all healers. But we're involved in this healing, and if we're immersed in it, we're giving our love away. You see, because listen, if we're under a time constraint or a money constraint, we fucking can't give it away because we're fucking going backwards. We need this, and that is not how to live. That ain't how to do it. That's not how to do it. That's not even how to get. That's not even how to master our craft. You can't do it like that. You can't fucking send somebody in a ring and say, okay, look it, you're 100 pounds lighter than this other guy, and you have a minute to beat him up. But fuck, where am I going with that? I'm prepared. You can't do it. So what you have to do is you have to increase your time frames and then do your best to lower your costs so that you're not mentally and emotionally under siege. Because without breathing room, we can't expand. We can't love. And here's the thing about this. Give. What does that mean? That means be so involved in this thing, whatever this thing is, healing, whatever your gift to the world is. Be so involved in it and give it with reckless abandon. Because here's the thing, giving it is its own reward. So this is where it gets confusing. Now, a byproduct of giving it as its own reward is the recirculation of energetic stuff back to you. But that's not why I want you to do it. So I just said a ton. But if you make the gifting of your gifts its own reward, like every time that I see someone here get it, and I know that they're changed for life, I get butterflies. I'm not kidding you. I get a charge out of it. It's the most beautiful thing, and I do it all day, every day. This is what I do. Now, doing it that way on a 10-year horizon with love. The law of the universe is you put that much out there and it starts coming back and coming back and coming back. And it comes back usually in the form of money. It does. It's the way that it works. But you can never get to that point if you're under siege. You can't get to that point if you're stressed, if you have no time, and if your expenses are more than your income. Holy shit, I feel so bad. I feel so bad for so many people when I see them running around with kids. Not from running around with kids, I love that. But running around with kids and having more bills than they have income. Holy God, the poor people. You know, these people are full of love. All people are wonderful people if they're poor. And they're living a life that they're never going to get on top of because they're underneath it. Their expenses are wrong. Their expenses are set up wrong. Their time frames are wrong. And all they do is live disappointment. You see, the disappointment, and I don't want you to lower your expectations. I want you to increase them. I tell a story a lot of times when I was younger, I wanted to have $10 million. And I wanted to do it in 2 years, right? 3 years, actually. And I started, and I didn't get $10 million in 3 years. But I didn't give up because I was a little tenacious little shit. And I kept on it and kept on it, 7 more years. And I wound up selling my company for $100 million. So it took 7 years longer, but it was 10 times bigger. So I'm going to tell you all the time, it's going to take longer and it's going to be bigger. In the interim, leave yourself alone and make time your God, time your religion. So when I said I'm going to make time my God, I didn't mean that. I meant I'm going to make time my religion. Please forgive me for that. And the thing is that so in order to give myself time, I got to do two things. I got to increase the time of my goals. I have to make them more, and then I have to be not under financial pressure. So I have to do something with my income or my expenses. Now, anybody can do this. And when you do this, guess what happens? You're no longer disappointed every day. You're not. You have a 10-year time horizon. You're making more than you're spending, and life gets easier. And now we can give. And we give and give and give and give as if giving was the only reward. And then after you do that, it's called seeding the universe. After you seed it and seed it and seed it and seed it, the money starts coming back. And when the money starts coming back, I needed $1, but I got 100. I needed 1,000, but I got 1,000,000. I needed 1,000,000, but I got 100,000,000. It's the fucking way that it works. And I'm telling you, it's the way that it works. Now, a lot of you are saying, okay, well, wait. My time frames are tight. My expenses are high. How do I do something? How do I do my life calling when I have no capital to do it? And I want to answer that, yeah? So the first thing is this. I'm not sure you will see your life's calling if you're not merged. Why? Because an unmerged soul picks from the space in between the merger. So what do I mean by that? So if you take a look at this, they pick from a place of trying to fill something up that can't be filled up through that of their picking. Merging is the only thing that can fill that up. A merged person picks from their soul. What does that even mean? Somewhere in you, there's a little boy or little girl. Melissa from Scranton. Hey, Melissa. Mindy from Jersey. Hey. So somewhere in you, there's your little boy or your little girl who's satisfied. They're satiated when they make the decision to pick what they want to do with their life. They're satiated. It's not out of a need to be stroked or a need to be loved or a need to buy a car. It's out of my soul wants to do that. But once you pick it from there, once you pick the thing that your soul wants, right? And you give yourself a 10-year time horizon. And that's not a 10-year time horizon because you're going to be lazy. That's a 10-year time horizon that you're going to work on every single second that you have. Because it's going to take every single second to be a master at what you want, what you're going to give to the world. And then once you decide to do it and decrease your expenses so that you're not under financial pressure, then you are on the road to getting it done. And boy, will you get it done. You will overshoot your goal, your financial goals, your satisfaction goals. You'll crush them. And if you're lucky, you'll beat the 10-year time horizon. I've seen people beat it by a year, 2 years. I once saw it happen in 5 years. But it never, ever, ever takes less than that. It doesn't. It's no thing. And if it takes 10, it takes 10. That's what it is. Now, how do you start small? Well, let's say this. If I ask myself the question, if money were no object, what would I be doing? That's the question. If money were no object, I'd own my own bakery or a string of bakeries. I love to bake. I was born a baker. It's so simple. And you say, well, wait, I can't give up my job at the bank to go and start buy a bakery. I don't have the capital. I don't want you to give up your job at the bank. You see, none of this should be stressful. It should be methodical and well thought out, not stressful. What I want you to do is take Saturday and bake a batch of cookies. And I want you to bring them into Bank of America, wherever you work, on Monday morning and give them away. I want you to do that every week for 10 weeks. And then in the 11th week, I want you to bring them in charge for them. And then I want you to bring 2 batches the next week in charge for them. And 4 batches the next week in charge for them. And at some point, the cookie making is going to be more financially rewarding than the fucking banking. And at that point, investors will be dying to help you out, to become an investor in your thing. Dying to. And I'm asking you to do it that way. And now nobody has an excuse. Nobody. There's no excuse to not do this. And why is it great to do something like this? Why is it great to not stress yourself out? Because the act of doing it, the act of building the company, the act of building your brand, the act of honing your skills should be a joyous act. What am I saying about making time my religion? Because when these 7,000 people die, we get to see people die in ayahuasca, they are all regretful about their use of time. I want you to use your time on the highest thing, and that is the giving of your gifts. Use that, the kissing of your child, the giving of your gifts, the loving of your family, the participating in your community. That's where the love is, and that's where the joy is. Now, the funniest thing is this: in a 10-year time horizon, by the time you're making money, and it really starts coming in, you're realizing that you didn't even need the money, because all of the joy is in the giving. It's all in the giving. It's a great cosmic joke that the fun of it is making the company. The fun of it is giving your gifts. Now, it's not fun if you're under time pressure and if your mortgage is $3,000 a month and you make $1,000. It is not at all fun. It is not at all fun to be on the lam from creditors. That is not fun. So I have to ask you that in these things, this is what's so funny, these spiritual teachings and our spiritual growth has a lot to do with how we are in life financially. People are going to flip at that, but it's the truth. Why? Because all spiritual growth or the time it takes to invest in a spiritual practice and to be able to focus even comes from not being under the gun so bad. So I don't want you to be under the gun. I want you to be in a position to expand and express your gifts to the world. And I mean that in the kindest way. And it can start out for free. As a matter of fact, in most success stories, it does. The gifts that you give, you start giving for free. You know why? When you first want to be a healer, you're not going to be great at it. You're going to start out, and you're not going to be great at it. You're going to get great at it through repetition, hard work, these things. And anybody who's coming to you and trying to sell you a story that's a shortcut, be very, 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 very wary of. Be very wary of it, because I myself haven't seen one. I haven't seen one. It's hard enough when you get the whole 10 years to do it. It really is. So rather than argue with the law of the universe, participate with it. When you see a fish trying to swim upstream, it's really hard to watch. If you ever watch the salmon going up to spawn, it's well worth it to spawn. They spawn and die. But if you watch them doing it, and if you watch young fish swimming with the current, man, swim with the current is easy. It's taking advantage of the universal law. Swim with the current on this one. Know that it's going to take this much time, and don't hate yourself because it's not happening in some way that somebody said it could happen. So somebody said, "Oh, I'll show you how to get rich in a year." They're full of shit. They're absolutely full of shit. So don't be swayed by that. Then by all means, come to see us at Rythmia. We love seeing you people. And I'm going to tell you something. Because of how we did this here, we're constantly booking up well in advance. So you might have to wait 2 months or 3 months or 4 months. But by all means, get here. This place is amazing. So what is this Rythmia? We are the #1 customer-rated resort in the world on TripAdvisor. Wow. Over 1,000 reviews. Crazy, because this place is amazing. I want you to come here. You know what? Make time your religion, and you will make sure that you get here. You will make sure that you get here. And when you get here, I will be here. I'm here every month this year, except March, June, September, and December. I'm here every other month. Please come and see me. I want you guys here, and if I'm not here, the wonderful and talented John Jacob is here, and he's every bit as good, if not better than me. So please come and see us. We're all, the Rythmia family is dying to see you. Yeah, I'm going to put that number. Call 866-936-9446 if you have any questions, and please book your trip. I love you guys. Please do me a favor. Press share for us. Facebook changed its rules. You got to share this. If you think anybody needs to hear this, please press share. God bless you. God keep you, and I will see you next week. Ciao now.